So the children's codes are going to be the first time that children and parents notice a difference in the online experience that children have. And that's since the start of the internet. Since children were first able to surf the internet, there has always been fears about what kids can access. So for the first time, every platform must take measures to ensure that content that's provided to children is age appropriate. So it will be a noticeable difference. Now, it'll take a while because we have to enforce the regulations have to come into force. Then we have to move through the process of assessing all of the different changes that are being implemented by the tech companies. And then if enforcement needs to happen, then we will move as fast as possible towards enforcement. But we've had good relationships with the tech companies. They have seen this coming loud and clear for a very long time, and we expect a swift, noticeable difference for the online experience for children. And that is a good thing. The powers that Parliament has given to our regulator, Ofcom, are the most powerful of any country anywhere in the world. We have a range of enforcement measures, and some of them are quite strident. So, for example, when it comes to protecting children from violent sexual exploitation, if companies don't take measures in that regard, it could result in a prison sentence for people in tech companies. It's the first time these kind of powers are being brought to bear in order to keep children safe online. So we can also fine up to 10% of global earnings. Now, these very powerful tools are in our armoury now, but the key thing is the vision that we have been very clear of what we expect the online experience to be for children. We want children to not just be safe, but feel safe, so that they can enter the online world with confidence and excitement about all of the things that they can explore online in terms of educational development, expression. I met a child up in Leicester recently who's learning a musical instrument, doesn't have anybody in the class to practice with, but has found some people, a community online, and they practice together. There are some wondrous things that children can enjoy online, but it won't be wondrous if you're worried about the next flick of a finger is going to deliver something which is disturbing or unsettling or also damaging. Well, actually, it's the opposite. Since I've come into office, I've strengthened, not diminished or weakened online legislation, online rules to keep kids safe. And so, for example, I've outlawed intimate image abuse. So the unsolicited sharing of intimate images of anybody is now illegal. And these powers are now online. So constantly, all the way through this, I've seen how tech is developing, some of the negative impacts that it might have, and I've acted swiftly. I don't think children under 13 should be seeing social media and interacting with it. That should be the case in a much more rigorous way after the codes come online. I think I am looking very carefully about how government can play a more active role in assisting tech companies in making that a far more rigorous process of verifying children's ages when it comes to content, because it's so essential. When we have illegal content being taken down and the law requiring it, which we have, when we have age-appropriate material and a rigour going into the way that content is provided to children to make sure it's appropriate for them, I think from there we can then start exploring as a society what a healthy online life looks like for children. Offline, parents are very good at setting curfews and social networks and the amount of time that they're doing stuff, diet, exercise. But online, parents don't feel empowered to do these things. And I understand why, but I think I want to do enough that helps parents in that task, whilst not dictating to parents what every family should look like. They have been left entirely alone. I think they have far more tools at their disposal than they've had before, but there's a fundamental problem that has not really been widely acknowledged, I believe, and I'm not a parent, I have to just say this at the start of all these conversations, that most parenting is learned from being parented. I think there is some early indications of where we can make policy based on evidence that is quality enough to start making policy decisions on the back of, whilst also knowing that over time we have to do more longitudinal studies, we need to have more peer-reviewed studies, and we need to also understand in granular detail the impact that individual products and services are having on specific children from different backgrounds. That's geographic backgrounds, economic backgrounds, and other characteristics as well, because that work has never been done. And it will take time to do that. So there's some things I am very cautious about making strident policy on the back of until we have that. But there are some things that are quite early indicators that certainly are reinforcing my direction of travel. So I'm looking really carefully at those at the moment, and I'll be talking more about it in the next sort of period. I need to just focus on getting the age-appropriate content, the next child safety measures done correctly. I'm spending a lot of time with Ofcom at the moment, with the regulators, a lot of time in my own department, just making sure that we're making the most of this opportunity in time. But whilst in the background for quite a number of months now, thinking about what comes next, and I've been quite explicit that I'm trying to understand, with as much evidence as possible, what constitutes a healthy online life for children and how we incentivize movement towards it, whilst not becoming the online parent for children, but setting setting a framework from which a healthy life becomes the norm, and parents are empowered to have the freedom and the scope to create the online family life that's appropriate for them. And of course, every family is different. So it's really difficult for me, bearing in mind some of the people who come to me with their stories, of not saying, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then suddenly what I'm trying to do is make every family the same. And I can't become a parent for every child online. But what I can do is mitigate harm, eliminate it where I can, and then try and just establish some of those essential boundaries that prevent a healthy childhood life. And as soon as we can talk more about health, because we've got safety right, I think we're moving in a really good direction at that point. When it comes to a 10-year-old or whoever, a child, a teenager that's on their iPad of an evening with their family, I want kids to be able to harness the power of the internet that is a complement to offline great family and social relationships and a great physical learning experience at schools. I want kids to come home and have an online life that is as nurturing, developmental, entertaining, and creative and joyful as we aspire their offline world to be, but also as a complement to, if kids, all have, if there's loads of kids in one area or one class that have a sort of niche interest, it's great that they can be together to paint, to draw, to create, to write, to sing, to do all these expressive things together. But actually, in the online world, they might be very, very niche interests, niche musical interests, niche sort of literature or learning interests that somebody with a very specific talent that's discovering their talent can suddenly be with people who share the same enthusiasm, share the same degree of talent, and they can bounce off each other and challenge each other and have an incredibly rewarding moment. That is entirely complementary to the physical offline world that we aspire to, and it can be delivered online in a way that cannot be delivered in the offline world. So these are all the sorts of things that I want young people to experience, but also to live in a world where you're not fearful of what could just appear in somebody's feed, because kids overwhelmingly don't go looking for this harmful content, it comes looking for them. This is utopian, and that's that we live in a world where algorithms understand all of our individual characteristics as human beings, what makes us unique, and then it zones in on them and it uses that knowledge to either sell us things or to keep us, to entice us into longer activity on the platforms. I really want us to live in a world where, yes, that happens for commercial reasons, but also that knowledge of our characteristics, our uniqueness as people, is also used to support and help guide people through times of vulnerability. And if we have character traits which are flaws or present challenges to us or vulnerabilities to us, why not use that knowledge to build resilience, to help us gain the knowledge, to put it into the perspective of our overall character as human beings. If you're feeling overwhelmed by what you're experiencing your children go through online, firstly, I am sorry, you have been let down for too long. For every child who is over the age of 13 now, and every young person that has grown up into this online world, I apologise because you have been let down by tech companies, by society and successive governments who haven't seen the harm that can emerge through online life for children and acted swiftly enough. For every child who is 13 upwards now, as of this week, the life that you have online is going to change profoundly. Every platform is going to have to make sure that the content that goes to you is age appropriate. And if it's not, they have to take absolutely rigorous action to take it off very, very rapidly. Illegal content, yeah, exactly, the platforms do. Every platform must now take down illegal content from the internet, and we're already taking enforcement action against those who don't. So we are getting a grip on the essentials of safety, and it is free now for you as parents to decide what kind of online life you want for your children. And I want you to have the power to create that life, to set the boundaries for your children that's appropriate for your family. There are parental tools that you should all understand for each app. We as a government are looking really carefully about now how we are your partners in setting a healthy online environment for your children and incentivising that health. Sometimes that involves government acting, sometimes it involves government insisting the tech companies act. Sometimes it's going to be a conversation between Netmums, government and the tech companies themselves so that we all understand your experiences and bring it to bear. I know that a lot of this is frightening for people because you didn't grow up in an online world yourselves with all these smartphones and apps and all the tech that your kids are enjoying, so you don't have a lived experience of it. But we are putting a lot of power into your hands now. We are going to start fining, if necessary, if it comes to child exploitation and sexual exploitation, we will send people to prison because we have the powers now and we're the only country that has these powers. So we are on your side. You will notice the change, but please also take time to understand all of the parental controls that you can have and make your voice known if you think there is something that we can do as a government that can make sure that all families and children enjoy a much healthier life online going forward, because that's what I aspire to do.